Jai Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jai Kunja Bihari Jai Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradari Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Jai Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradari Jaya Yashoda Nandana Jaya Braja Janaranjana Jai Yashoda Nandana Jaya Braja Janaranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jamuna Tira Jaya Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradari Jaya Yashoda Nandana Jaya Brajajana Ranjana Jaya Yashoda Nandana Jaya Brajajana Ranjana Chamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Kunjabihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunjabihari Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Rama, Rama, Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Rama, Rama, Rama. Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunjabihari. Jaya Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. Jai Jai Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Nitai Go Haribo, Gaura Haribo. Shri Radha Madhava Ki Jai, Jai Purusha Prabhupada Ki. Gaur Premanande. Thank you, Prabhu. Jai Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nasta Prayesu Abhadresu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttamasloke Bhakti Bhavati Naistiki. Srimad Bhagavatam, 5th Canto, 3rd Chapter. Rishabhadev's appearance. Text 12. Srimad Bhagavatam, 5th Canto, 3rd Chapter. Titled Rishabhadev's appearance, text 12. Because it's too beautiful and complex, I will just read it out on my own and then we'll do word for word. Ata katanchit skalena shutpatana jimbrana duvastana disu vivashanam nas maranaya jwara marana dashayam apisakala kasmala nirasanani tava Guna Kritana Madeyani Vachani Gocharani Bhavantu. Please repeat. Ata, still. Katanchit, somehow or other. Skalana, stumbling. Kshut, hunger. Patana, falling down. Chimbana, yawning, Duravastana, because of being placed in an undesirable position. Adisu, and so on. Vivashanam, unable, na, of ourselves. Smaranaya, to remember. Jwara marana dashayam. In the case of having a high fever, at the time of death. Api, also. Sakala, all. Kashmala, sins. Nirasanani, which can dispel. Tava, yo, guna, attributes. Krita, activities. Namadeyani, names. Vachana gocharani, possible to be uttered. Bhavantu, let them become. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Abhay Charnaravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada Ki. Dear Lord, we may not be able to remember your name, form, and qualities due to stumbling, hunger, falling down, yawning, or being in a miserable disease condition at the time of death when there is a high fever. We therefore pray unto you, O Lord, for you are very affectionate to your devotees. Please help us remember you and utter your holy names, attributes, and activities, which can dispel all the reactions of our sinful lives. Purport. The real success in life is Antenarayana Smriti, remembering the holy name, attributes, activities, and form of the Lord at the time of death. Although we may be engaged in the Lord's devotional service in the temple, material conditions are so tough and inevitable that we may forget the Lord at the time of death due to a diseased condition or mental derangement. Therefore, we should pray to the Lord to be able to remember his lotus feet without fail at the time of death, when we are in such a precarious condition. In this regard, one may also see Srimad Bhagavatam, 6th canto, 2nd chapter, text 9 and 10, and text 14 and 15. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayang Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeyam Shri Guru Shri Yutapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Ragunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sutta Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavenebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam karoti vachanam pangum langaite girim Yat kripa tamamam vande Shri Gurum dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. These are the sincere prayers of the devotees. The assistance of Maharaj Nabi involved in this yagya by their expert, focused execution of the yagya, the Supreme Lord was pleased to appear. Of course, it is emphasized that it was not due to their technical abilities or their one-pointed performance of yagya, but it was due to the affection that the Lord had for his devotee Maharaj Nabi. When the Lord had appeared, his darshan inspired the prayers, heartfelt prayers of these brahmanas. And we are hearing today a prayer which should become one of our prayers, if we can adopt this prayer. That the whole goal of our Krishna consciousness practice, Prabhupada writes, real success in life is Ante Narayana Smriti. To remember Narayan at the end of life. The Bhagavad Gita also echoes the same message. Someone may ask, why such a focus on death at the end of life? Well, for one, the Bhagavad Gita is spoken at a battlefield. So the war is there, and in war, chances are many will meet death. And Arjuna was also worried. First, he's worried about killing friends, killing relatives, even killing superiors. Krishna wants to focus his mind on the goal of his life, which is to act in Krishna consciousness, to act for the benefit of Krishna. And so in the 8th chapter, zooms in on what should be the consciousness at the end of life. Same word there, ante at the end, here, anta narayana smriti, there, anta kale chamameva smaran mukta kalevaram. Ya prayati samadbhavam yati astri nasta samsaya. Krishna says, whoever remembers me when he quits his body, certainly you will come to me without fail. Of this there is no doubt. It kind of always bothered me, this concept that, so is it that our whole life we may be practicing Krishna consciousness, and just as these devotees are expressing here, that we may not be able to remember Krishna at that last point of life. Here they're saying, due to stumbling, you may just lose your path on these steep hills of Switzerland, mountains, and that's it, Kangamai, boom. While you're still trying to deal with that, oh, I'm falling, finished. Hunger. Falling down is actually listed exactly there, falling down. Yawning. It seems that some people just have a last yawn. While you're dealing with that, that's it. Or being in a miserable disease condition at the time of death. So disease is not fun, not nice. Pain, suffering. We see some of the Vaishnavas, they don't want to be taken into the hospitals. Because the hospital, to help you with the pain, they'll stick some morphine into your system and some heavy painkillers, which may knock you out of consciousness. So they want to focus at that time. So it was always sort of a thing that it just doesn't seem fair. That everything, and then if you just miss the train, you know, sometimes you took all the right buses, you flew from far, and then you just miss that one important connection, the whole thing collapses. Well, Prabhupada explains in the purport of that 8th chapter that for one who has practiced remembering the Supreme Lord throughout life, the Supreme Lord is the purest of the pure, and only those who have come to that standard of purity can be able to remember him, because there's that other side also. Others read that and think, oh, okay, it's about that time when I'm leaving the body. So for now, let me do what I want to do. I know the Maha Mantra, I've heard of Krishna. If death comes, then I'll just try to remember Krishna and I would have solved the problem. So Prabhupada is saying like that no, Baba, it won't work like that. So the importance of the time of death is that the time of death is an assessment of the values that one has cultivated in life, of the attachments that we have cultivated in life. When there's difficulty, we tend to try and take shelter of something or someone. You know, we have the internet and it is always serving many things. One such service of the internet was people crashing. So people have all these dash cams, and especially these work trucks. The owners want to see what the employees are up to. So they install cameras in the vehicle. So the man was driving, and somehow or the other somebody cut him off, and he realized, oh, he didn't have pretty language about it. And next thing, the truck was falling, collapsed. It crashed to the side. And you can hear the man screaming, "Mama! Mama!" About 3 times he's calling his mother. Yeah, and I was thinking, yes, Antakale Chamamega. He needs shelter. And what is his attachment? So this attachment is your intelligence. What have you ascertained to be the most important thing? Your mind means your emotions. What do you feel is the most important? And so at the time of death, it's not just a matter of, like here we hear remembering, like if you are asked what is the capital of Uzbekistan, and you want to make sure that you remember. Do you know?
Tashkent.
Sure. More fire. Tashkent, yes. So it wouldn't be just like that you just want to remember. But this remembrance is all the faculties. How you've used your body, how you've cultivated your emotions, how you've used your intelligence to set up a value system and emotional attachment. So that will move in a certain direction when there's difficulty. Like this man, it went to mama. We see that when people are locked up, unsure of their fate, afraid, then they tend to get into the fetal position. When you need security, you get back to the womb. Sort of, that is really imprinted in the muscle memory of the living being, some shelter. That even in wars, even men who are atheistic, when the bullets are ringing past, yes, they call out for God or they call out for mama. Everyone needs shelter. So the concern of the devotee is that I live in trying to serve you, my Lord, and my cultivation has been to remember, to glorify your name, your form, your pastimes. But death is such a challenge that will I be able to remember you at that crucial point? Padma Purana says the condition at death is so much pain as though one is being stung by 40,000 scorpions at the same time. Now, if you want to make a point that there's pain, they really made the point. One scorpion is just like 40, maybe 400 4,000? 40,000. So don't take it for granted, basically. We should not think that death is just piece of cake. You know, people talk about, he left peacefully. So, okay, yeah. It's possible. Maybe. You have a doubt? It's possible to live peacefully? What do you think?
I don't think so, because some people would really describe it differently. Maybe it's different according to common knowledge.
That's one point. Some people died and described it. There's this query people say like that. Who died and came back to tell us what's on the other side? If they came back, they didn't die. Yes, Babu?
The common opinion is that some people deserve to die while sleeping. This is called
Peaceful.
Peaceful passing away. It's like perfection.
In his sleep.
Peace. The rest of it is afterwards. But me personally, I don't believe it very much. Who knows what the person was experiencing, really? But
Underneath.
his consciousness at that moment when his soul was sleeping out the body, we don't know.
So we have to get some knowledge from those in charge of the Department of Death. There's the Superintendent of Death, Yamaraj. He has a whole team of people who deal with helping those who need to get out of the body. Prabhupada speaks of getting kicked out of this material body. That generally the living entity is attached to his housing, his apartment that you're living in. So two situations are there. One is attached, they don't want to leave. Another is that the pain is so unbearable that others are begging, please, just take me out of my misery. I think Switzerland is a very merciful country. They have some provision that if you want to end it, then I'm sure there's some conditions you have to fulfill. Then they have some facility. Recently there was another inventor who created like some sort of pod where he says his pod is like it's quicker. There's like a viewing window, you know, family and friends can come and see, and so the old system was protesting his new invention. No, we've been assisting people to leave their bodies here for a long time. It's been good. What's this now? You're coming in. But he's coming with something that looks fancy, so he may corner the market because it's not free also. So anyway, the underlying motive is to help that person to deal with the pain at the end of life. So, okay, maybe nobody could witness what turmoil was going on in the consciousness. The last they saw is that you were sleeping and now you're no longer in the body. The Prabhujis who come to get you, they are described that they look very scary. Like a shining black, they got hair like the bristles of a brush, you know, their faces are contorted, eyes red with anger, they have nooses and they can catch the soul. And it's like, chalo. So it's that in the hospitals, the nurses, they tell some of these stories. They can tell also when somebody is nearing the end, that some people start to get hysterical and they talk about people in the room and they're trying to get me, you know, help me, can't you see, and the nurses, okay, they know this one is on their way out. There's no one there, according to them, but this person is freaked out. They are called the Yamadutas. So they have to come and get you to take you to the next body. And if someone has been sinful, the path to the next body and the preparation is also not at all very nice. So fifth canto enters into that vivid description. So much for, you know, sometimes spirituality is like all of a sudden you can just shed this old idea of hell. You know, there is no heaven or hell, you know. It's all made up, you know, society made this. Yes, it is documented. Hellish planets are there. But this is not our leading message as Vaishnavas. We don't go out there describing the hellish planets for people. Because we're not trying to use fear. But the truth is necessary. One needs to come to the mode of goodness and understand reality. Because ignorance is never bliss. It seems like it is. But really, if you understood the consequences of some activity, like, you know, one of these hellish planets, there's these trees that have got very sharp leaves. It's like basically blades. And then you are just dressed by the directions. And there's dogs that are chasing you. And so it's either the dogs are gonna like, Mahaprasada Govinde, or you try to escape and then the trees are just slicing you. And now these bodies, they are given such that you go through the pain, but you don't die.
That's like a bad dream.
Yeah. So now, try to reconcile that with a merciful God. So we put ourselves in, if I was God, come on, I wouldn't be that bad. Yeah. People, they make these calculations. So a complete picture of reality is necessary. So the Srimad Bhagavatam is so wonderful with that there's all 9 cantos to understand the many aspects of what we call reality in this material world. And understanding God in his different features, all the way to understanding the personality of Godhead. And more than anything, what is his mission with this material universe? That it's a correctional facility. And if it's a correctional facility, then there is necessarily some conditions that have to be fulfilled for someone to get out of jail. You have to serve your time, yes, but if you want early parole, then there's something else you need to do. This is the good behavior or the demonstrating some transformation that you are ready to integrate with the world outside the prison. So for the devotees, we want to be reinstated in the spiritual world, where there's none of these conditions of dogs and that are trying to eat you and whatever else is going on, either on hellish planets or on Earth planet or on the higher planet systems. So the way to transform one's consciousness and to align with the Lord is this devotional service. And this devotional service is headed by the hearing and chanting and remembering the Lord. Please help us remember you and utter your holy names, attributes, and activities, which can dispel all the reactions of our sinful lives. So first of all, if one doesn't accept that they're actually getting the justice deserved by their previous activities, will they come to a point of trying to rectify? What are these steps of recovery, even for addicts? Part of it is acknowledging there's a problem. There are people, everyone can see, look, you are like a druggie. You're just, no, I can quit anytime. And everyone is saying, no, you need help. And they become upset with whoever assesses the situation like this. You know, why are you judging me like this? You've always thought you're better than me. So many things. So if the problem is not acknowledged and one accepts, then the road to correcting the behavior or actually coming out of that drug addiction will never take place. Accept and then take the steps. So we want to be free to do what we want, and we don't want the consequences of our actions in that so-called freedom. But the way is that we have to surrender that freedom to actually gain real freedom. Like the drug addict. He surrenders his freedom to the rehab. The rehab, you know, they lock you up, they've got a whole regimen there for you. So the more he surrenders that freedom, then they can help the person and then again release them free to rejoin society. The purport at the end points us to Srimad Bhagavatam, 6th canto, 9th text, 10, 14, and 15. There is a discussion of namabhas, sanketyam, parihasyam va, vasadam stobam, helanam. That even those who chant the name jokingly for entertainment, referring to something else, even broken the syllables, they still, that shadow name is able to deliver them from so many sins. 9 and 10, if you could find it. It's like such a wholesale thing that those who are practicing also, we can be a little envious. Just like this idea that, and it's proven in the case of Prahlad Maharaj, that whoever becomes like a pure devotee, then like generations of your family members going forward and backwards can be liberated. Something like up to 21 generations. So, the envious wretch that I am, a little better now, but back then I just thought like they were giving me hell for joining. They don't want me to take part. And then I have to kind of forgo the life that I had, and I'm following this austerities, Mangalati and all of that. And if I continue to practice, and then even the relatives I never met are just going to be given mercy and liberated. I was thinking, this is not fair. Come on. Why should I be the sacrificial lamb?
So,
yes, Prabhu.
What about their karma? To get liberated because of someone 7 generations before or after you or whatever?
Yes, you can also feel that pinch, no?
No, I'm just curious because
I'm just okay. It's okay.
karma isn't working, or in that case it's not applying to them, or how is that?
Yes, very good question.
Just curious.
Yeah. So this is more attesting to Krishna's nature. That Krishna is so grateful to his pure devotee and so affectionate to his pure devotee that in benedicting his pure devotee, that's not enough. He's feeling so many people have contributed to this, my devotee, being in this family, being raised in whatever way, that if I'm splashing you with like palm full of water, it may catch you. But all of a sudden I want to pour the whole ocean on you. This Krishna's mercy. Then the ocean will flood the whole of Europe. So Krishna's mercy and gratitude and love for his pure devotee, such that he wants to benedict any and everything connected to his devotee. So anyway, also showing that he's got nothing against us, Krishna. Like he doesn't really, it's not like, all of you are going to pay for all your sinful karma, that he's just there, relishing that got you. Like you heard the pastime of Vasudeva that he's praying out of compassion. So much sinful activities people have performed and they are suffering in this material world. My dear Lord, if you find any piety in me, any good qualities, then you give all their sinful reactions to me and you deliver them, and I'll stay in this material world and suffer that karma. So this is just a devotee can feel like this. And Mahaprabhu was smiling that Vasudeva died. I mean, you think this is like some big gesture. Well, it is. But from the point of view of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, what is this universe? It's like one mustard seed. If you have a bag of mustard seeds, do you even look at one mustard seed for more than a nanosecond? It's just one of so many. I can empty it out, no problem, deliver them. It's not a big deal. You would think also the Lord would, no, these people have been sinful. You can't just deliver all of them like this. No, this is cheating, or, he's trying to keep everyone. No problem. If you want this, what you want, tatasta. What do you think, Simon? He doesn't like it. You don't like it. Sounds fair? Sounds okay. Anyway, this is, yes, Paul.
I guess part of the question is, maybe my uncle, he doesn't want to be Krishna conscious, maybe he has a free choice to maybe distance from God, having a Krishna conscious, and that mercy waves kind of splashes him, but maybe he doesn't want. How is the free will protected?
Yes, Krishna has that ability. He is the autonomous autocrat. See, every living being desires Krishna, desires freedom, love, and all that is there in his intrinsic nature as a soul. It's just owing to their ignorance that they think they don't want. So actually, like the parent, the child may not want to go to school. So if the parent is like, okay, he's a free guy, he should decide what he wants to do, and you keep letting the fellow sleep, then you have to deal with like uneducated, probably criminal, drug-addicted child. So if there's some way to inspire him to go and study, the parent is ready to try anything to get him to go. And even to the point of just the pull off the covers, ring bells, splash some water. So if Krishna will offend our tiny free will, I never wanted this. As soon as you get the mercy, immediately, you are, yes, Jai Haribol. Look at Mahaprabhu in Navadvip. What was he doing? Simply by the kirtan process, I give the example is given of the fisherman. So the fisherman, you think he was trying to attain Krishna Prema? No, he's trying to feed his family. Next thing, his net, it's got something heavy. He's thinking, today I caught a big fish. And he pulls the net and he touches this, and all of a sudden, he's chanting Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. His hairs are standing on end, and he thought that this must have been some like ghostly haunted Brahmana or something that I've touched. So, I mean, he's still getting violated, you could say, in his free will. He wants to continue his life as a fisher. Man, all of a sudden, there's this thing that has taken him over. But what can Mahaprabhu do? By nature, is ecstatic like that. If you get in touch with him, sorry. Like all of us here. Did you really plan out the hairstyle? The sitting on the floor, no meat eating, no illicit sex, no gambling. Something maybe we thought, yeah, a better life would be like this and like that. But most of what now we accept as our normal life is just as a result of that book that I read. You know, some people sometimes feel like that. Why did I take that book? Other people say, in South Africa, they say, utandizinto, means like you like things too much. So some people just saw the Harinam. Because of liking things, I went to them and then, you know, thinking I'm having some type of fun. Look at me now. So such a personality is the personality of Godhead, that he will give his mercy even to those who don't want it. Panchatattva did that, right? They were chanting, 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 relishing. People wanted to come in, they barred everyone. People would make up stories what was going on in there, you know, just to discredit them. But later on, they opened the doors to Shiva's Angam. And it said, then they flooded the world with love of God. And people were running away, trying to escape the flood. And imagine it's the Hindus who reported Mahaprabhu and his Sankirtan movement to the Muslim Chankazi. These days there's all this Hindu-Muslim like hate. But you find that the enemy of Hinduism tends to be Hindus themselves. At least the enemy of Chaitanya Gaudiya Vaishnavism were the other Hindus there. They deal with this Nimai and his chanting, they are disturbing our sleep. And so people would be running, but they would catch them and drown them further. Prabhu, you had something?
Yes, one example comes from our recent class in the Swami, who spent quite a long time in Paris, standing in the streets, in certain corners, and it just so happened that Prabhupada was there in Paris, and Guru Maharaj with his group went out for Harinam Sankirtan, and they were chanting, and this lady was in front of them, and for 20 minutes she stuck her point fingers in her ears and stuck her tongue out and closed her eyes and was like this for 20 minutes in front of the Harinam group. And when Harinam group, this Guru Maharaj, they came back to the temple, and the person Prabhupada reporting the activities, Prabhupada said, he was listening to the report, and then he asked, and then, so what you do? What did you do? In a very grave mood, he asked him. And Guru Maharaj says he was like, he lost himself. He didn't know what to answer because he did nothing to Prabhupada. He just kept chanting. And Prabhupada asked again, so what did you do? he didn't know what to answer. And Prabhupada said, you have to come to her, take her fingers out of her ears, and chant to the right ear, Krishna Maha Mantra. That was looks like forcing, but Prabhupada's mercy has no limits, like he's delivering the mercy of Panchatattva and Krishna.
The Swiss are already freaking out. Oh, breaking the laws. Oh.
Some people just cannot tolerate it, but we should keep on chanting.
And interesting enough, Prabhu, with that story, you try it. Like we have earplugs. It seems that we're blocking our ears from outside. But what happens, we create some nice sort of, I don't know what to call it, like a vacuum where the sound gets more concentrated. Even the people who are here, Harinam is coming and then they try to close, they tend to hear the name even much more clearly. So it's almost 20 minutes of like pure hearing, because you're focusing on isolating that particular thing, but that's just, how much of it can you really put out? And with this, though, I mean, to your example, the horses, for example, we're not, pushing some. The horses, they don't want to have their hooves shoed, but they have to grab them, and knock the thing out and help and put the new thing to protect. For their welfare, they don't want it. The people at the hospital, they punch the doctors sometimes in anger, but the doctor has to give injection to help the fellow. So in one sense, the Sankirtan movement is definitely violating the desires of the conditioned souls. They don't want this liberation. They want to enjoy. And the whole modus operandi is that give them some sort of mercy. And it's designed such that, because the ears are always sitting there, so they hear every and anything. So just get the name of Krishna somehow or the other into their ears. Yes. So I'll make this one, and then, yeah. So just to consolidate everything here, that the holy name contains the pastimes, the form, the abode of the Lord, Nam, Rupa, Guna, and Lila. And so it is the most important and efficacious way to remember Krishna at the time of death. Therefore, even in that purport 8.5 and 8.6, 8.5 has the holy name twice, full mantra Prabhupada writes. One must incessantly, constantly chant. And it is said like that, Padma Purana also, Smatavya satatam Vishnu vismatavyo najatu chit. Savevidi nisedasyu etayo eva kinkara. That one should always remember Krishna and never forget him. And all the rules and regulations of the scriptures should be servants to this one injunction. Therefore, it is our primary duty, even the instructions of the spiritual master, of all the instructions, the main instruction is to chant the minimum of 16 rounds daily. And also that with attention and affection and avoiding the offenses. This is what will create the consciousness that at time of death, even though there's so many disturbances, like Kula Shekhar, King Kula Shekhar speaks about that. Let me die now, my Lord, while I'm strong and stout, while my mind is still clear. Let my mind, which is like a swan, the swans they like to enjoy in the lotus stems, stick their head in there. Let my mind now, while it's clear, enter into the lotus of remembering you. Because at the time of death, kapha, vata, pitta, all these elements will cause choking up of the throat. We mentioned the pain of being kicked out, So he's so eager to perfect life that let me die while I can remember. Now, yeah. So the holy name, the holy name, the holy name alone is the key to remembering Krishna, purification of heart, and the rest of it. Yes, Mataji.
I was just thinking about when you were speaking about Yamdutas. I just hope I didn't. So when you were speaking about Yamdutas, that when people are dying in the hospital, leaving their body, and they see all the Yamdutas and people don't know about it. Something like that happened in my family actually. My grandma, which was maybe like 11 years ago or something, she passed away. Yeah? But just before she was passing away, like 1 week before, let's say 2 weeks before, she was seeing all different kinds of auspicious signs, and we were still very young then. But because my parents are also devotees, so we knew that okay, read about all of that stuff. So she even mentioned that she woke up like 2 in the night in the morning. And my cousin, she was staying next to our house with another uncle, yeah, and my cousin, she was staying next to her room. And my cousin told us that the next morning that grandma woke up in the night around 2 o'clock, and she's saying she was so scared, and she said, "I saw, look, who is this man on the bull?" She said that. And then the following days, she kept on seeing, auspicious signs, and then at one point, she also said that I saw, look at these women, they are crying outside my room. And my cousin, she was she was only 10 years old, and she was really scared, and she went out outside the room to check who is there, but there was no one. And my grandma, she kept on saying things like that. But for me, it was very surprising. 2 things were surprising. I mean, after 2 weeks, she passed away, yeah. But for me, something was really surprising was that she was following 4 regulated principles. She was a very good mother and a very changed life, all of those things. But she never even did any demigod worship, let alone worship Krishna. And we have a temple next to our house, literally 5 minutes. And she never went there. All her life she lived, but she never went there. And then I was 2 things that kind of made me think about. One thing was that just following 4 regulated principles is not actually enough, because I was hearing one of the lectures of Srila Prabhupada. He says that following 4 regulated principles doesn't actually make you a devotee, but it actually just elevates you to the human platform. It just is a basic principle for any human being. And then second thing I was wondering about is that she said that she saw some women. So that thing always was in my mind, because when we read Bhagavatam, it always describes about the Yamdutas. I have not read anywhere about the ladies in the hellish planets. So maybe you know about this Dhammas.com, there is a website, and there was an article posted on that. It was a story about a devotee whose father was passing away, and his father, when he was passing away, his father was doing all sinful activities and all that stuff. And then when he was passing away, he was also seeing really scary things like Yamdutas, yeah. And then he mentions in that article that his father saw ladies also, really scary ladies. And then it kind of, immediately made me think of my grandma. And then this devotee was also surprised by this. And then he did some research, and he read maybe different shastras or something. And then he found that in Yamloka, Yamaraj also has like families. They also have ladies like wives and children. That was something for me. I just want to share.
Yeah, no, we appreciate it.
So it's a family business.
Yes, yes, yes. Devotees, just interesting looking devotees. Wow, yeah. I mean, there are many stories like this. Yeah, time is, it's trying to respect the local customs. Yes, there are many stories. Even I had one person who inspired me. Okay. I said, should I tell?
Yeah.
Okay. Life comes from person. So just when I'd met the devotees, I was in some situationship, and one Hindu lady met me with this one lady friend. And she saw we had bead bags, so we were like, had started chanting. Oh, how do you know about these things? So we mentioned, no, we met them in Pretoria where we were studying. And then she looked at us and said, oh, you have very good light. You know, if you stay with this is very good. You will do very well. This is good for you, or whatever. And then she said to the lady, you have like a cloud over you, you know. But if you stay with him, you know, everything will be okay. And then she told about her son, who had been in an accident. So the car, you know, flipped out of the road, and he was shot out of the car, seatbelt not on. And he was falling. He felt he was falling into this hole that just wasn't ending. And because they are raised Hindu, at some point he was thinking maybe he should call someone, one of the gods that he knew. He tried to chant something. And then the fall was broken. But then he started seeing what later on, when I moved to the temple, I could understand. He described, you know, blackish, shining like, you know, these trash bags, she was telling me. They were very ugly, and they were trying to pull him out of his body. And he was so afraid. But then at the last moment, they told him that you're getting just one more chance to get your life together. And so he came back, and he took consciousness somewhere. Paramedics were waking him up. And he told the aunt, he says, that's when she became serious about this. So she was saying to me that don't ever doubt this thing about that there's hell, there's an afterlife, this is true, and there's a people who come to punish you. So you just stay on this path. And I was just like, wow, this lady, so much information she just came to tell us for free. And part of it was, you know, I thought definitely I must join the temple. And I told, you know, her, like, look, you know, she saw some heavy clouds around you. You definitely also have to join, you know. But inside me, I also thought I don't need clouds in my life, you know. I must just stay with the devotees. Yamadutas, there is a reality past this body. It's not just earth planet. And so by hearing Bhagavatam, we can consider afterlife, what's next, and we can do the right thing, stay with Krishna. And as Krishna is ecstatic, then the future is ecstatic. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki Gaur Premanande. Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripas and Dubhevacha Patitanam Pavanabhyo. So please forgive me of my many offenses. I make advancement in making offenses. I don't know why. Please, forgive me and please bless me.
I have a question, but I think it's too late. Or is it tomorrow?
Okay, we'll see maybe Prashant. Can we just take one quick picture? We'll probably talk about those who are there. Just let's take Simon. This is called photo yoga. So we can just arrange the power plant. This will be like my that I was at Zurich.
So, everyone, yeah.
Yes, yes, we just have to inspire them slowly to come.
Sure.
Please come.
I'm just a newcomer.
Yes. Come for you. Look new in the picture. He's so senior.
Most senior girl in the room, actually.
Like how to
This
present
is also on the
yourself.
picture or not? This outside this area?
Yes,
I
yeah.
made multiple. Oh yeah, that's for that. Yeah, there.
Okay.
Okay.
You're free now. Yes, that was the question. We can just talk this.
So I was like wondering, so there's like a pain and suffering for every living being, yeah. So there's like incarnation. So the person, what sort of harm they should have commit to be going to those places in hell, even though that we're going to go through suffering in our incarnations in this life.
Ah, you can think of something like there's the fish, and you're the knife, and moving the snake, hanging out, whatever it is. There's so many other living beings that you've been coming up. So we can get also something which is to get that being cut back. Every action has a reaction.
Yeah.
Yeah, so some examples are given when someone likes to drink hot stuff, they have the hot stuff. So they get to drink with a lava. So it's just like, heavy sounding thing. But now that you channel Hare Krishna,
No, I'm not worried about myself.
No, I know, but sometimes you just don't even hear it. As if, but this should make us feel like, when you see people that somehow try to get them to say just Hare Krishna once. It's not the next. It can save someone. Or
I wonder why people don't remember their actual conditions, or why they go through this. Because when we put someone in prison, we should tell him why he is here, and then when he comes out, we should remember why he was suffering.
It's like that. Everyone gets told that when you're going through it, like Prabhupada's example of forgetfulness, say when you were 2 or 3, you did some things. You may not remember them, but your parents, they tell you, you did the thing. So there's a system that keeps the record of what we did. And in life, even at the punishment, we're reminded why we did. But to facilitate the next one, they want us to forget the previous one. Because you imagine you remember things from the previous life. This life was so disrupted. You couldn't settle in this life and parents if you still have some. Even in this life, like we suffer, in Maya or whatever, heartache. But still at some point we may just decide, no, that was the past, now I want to try again and take the way to enjoy. So fear on its own is not a great inspiration for the necessary change of heart. We have to experience the adjustment situation, some taste. No, not taste.
And just say that hell was made by the whole personality of Krishna.
No, it's part of the universe, the English planets.
She's so scary that even people who are so-called pious being have to go through hell. And it's actually happening.
Yeah, piety is nice, but it's not. Some people are pious, and then one side of their life is just they think to something very heavy. Let's say rich aristocratic folks, they may do charity this way, that way, but then they just have this big business of avatars. That's how they made their fortune. Maybe some exploitation of some people. But they are not themselves doing so much craziness. You know, there's some sin.
And is it that usually people go down and come back as human beings?
Yes, again you rise. But in detail it's one place. Krishna is very like some people he says he cast them down to a point of position and again and again. It's like, but I mean it's because that's what they want, right? Before that it's talking 89 what they don't say. It's okay, let's keep him from YouTube. But the nice thing is that the soul itself is never harmed. It's only just superficial. Yeah, like, if you don't want to try it, you don't understand. Thank you. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram. Hare Ram, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna.